And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here on the front lines with two co-hosts. Both we have Stephen Rowe, known as Tank, and Michelle Walker with Speak Walkers. How's it going, everybody?
Going great.
It's going great, Dan. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. We got a little bit of a late start, but Tank and I had to get a little bit of catch-up time in. So, Tank, you wanna hit the ground running with an update? I just a side note. I titled this one "Kingdom of Manna Gets Shut Down."
Yes. So, as everyone knows, I believe that we read the warning, right? That the Kingdom of Manna was letting everybody know who we have exposed as being a absolute sham several times. But the Kingdom of Manna, who only had their power in the first place, or had such a kingdom because Kim gave it to them, and then Kim again removed their power by actually issuing a cease and desist order back in December of 2017. So potentially the shortest existence of any kingdom in history. But so the Kingdom of Manna continued to go around the world and try to register all the tribes, and they continued to work for the Cabal. And at times they would actually show up with a fake version of Kim, and they would, other times they would say that Kim had been removed. Their story never quite matched up, right? But that's the reality of what the Kingdom of Manna had been doing. And but they still gained favor in these high circles of, finance and of various groups, all desperate to bring in money. And they did have access to some pretty high-end hackers. And we also know that they were charging people. Like they say, oh, we'll fund your project, but you got to give us $175,000 first. So they were doing that as well. So they put out a big issue, kind of a notice memo, to all the. Now, I don't want to undersell this because this is a big deal if you think about it, right? Because they put out a warning to all the banks in the world, all the military in the world, and all the governments in the world, but mainly the top four superpowers in the world, right? So they really must have some clout, right? And Kim said that it was all over the world, it was the buzz because it was the big fix, right? So what they said they were going to do, they were going to shut down all the military, all the intelligence, and all of the monetary system, right? Of the entire financial system globally, worldwide. And every 15 minutes on the hour, they were going to give the military and the intelligence groups, like the leaders, the chance to ask questions about what was going on. And this was supposed to be their test run, and they were fixing everything. And but the global financial system, they were just going to shut it down. So everybody would have just been shut down. So they put this out there. Now you have to think they must have been very confident in what they were doing to put this out there. And then I guess everybody was responding to them. They were very expectant that was going to happen. And finally, this crazed notion that the Kingdom of Manna was somehow going to take control. And they actually put an announcement that the dragon families were no longer in control. I think they referenced something Nubian, which I believe might have been, some version of the Destroyer or something. And basically they said, that, they were no longer in control, and they were going to show that they were in control. But now we know, and anybody who's been following us or Tommy knows, that the Kingdom of Manna has been working directly with the dragon families and the Rothschilds Matter of fact, it was with the Bush family that they tried to steal all the money from the trust from Kim. So lo and behold, they put out this big warning, all this hype, December 15th. Let everybody know to be forewarned. This is what's about to go down. And so I asked Kim about it on a Wednesday morning. I'm like, Kim, so what happened with Kingdom of Manna? Did they do anything? And she said she shut them down before they could. So I think that's a pretty significant detail to be aware of. So if they were that powerful, that important, that prominent, right, and can basically snap their fingers and shut their whole organization down, at what point do they stop pandering to, this other group and recognize that, hey, obviously stop begging after number two and just look to number one, because obviously, they had no power.
Right.
So.
Well, that's. Well, it's good. It's good. So when it means shut them down, what does that mean? She shut them down because she had given the cease and desist. That's a shutting
if
down.
Their goal was to shut down the military. Well, if you think about what they were saying, right? Because we've already said that the Kim's systems, right, the key integrated monetary system, as well as the key intelligence and military systems, are actually what is holding everything in place, right? And they're actually running right now. So basically what the Kingdom of Manna was saying is they were going to shut that down, right? Mm-hmm. So before they had a chance to shut anything down or even try to shut anything down, the Kim system shut them down. So whatever their system was that they were going to use, this new financial system they were going to introduce, whatever that looked like, is gone. And I'm sure that Kim, she didn't leave it open for suggestion. I'm sure it no longer even exists at this point. She shut them down, so they can't do anything anymore.
Well,
so
okay, the round is over.
Hank, when they shut them down, there's a question on the board actually, and I've had this a couple times. You did the IRS the other day that Robert Allen is asking, if you could help relieve people's stress over the close down of the IRS, if you could explain practical steps to take if they're required about what to do about taxes, that seems to. I think you talked about how the taxes, but can you kind of, comment, because that's a question I'm getting quite often on emails and stuff about the IRS, since you covered that.
Well, I certainly am not going to tell anybody to avoid paying taxes yet. I would wait for an official announcement for anything of that nature. What I will say is that I have got reports from all over the country now. Several reports. I've got audios and all types of things from people who have gone to pay the IRS and they couldn't because they had no record of their, of them owing anything. They've tried to. We've got it where the IRS has said outright that their system has been down. But what that means yet, I don't know. I know that this is something that Kim was working on, and she was working with the government to restructure the actual tax system. Okay, and to restructure the tax system is the original tax system. I guess would be the I forget what it's called. It's just basically the tax department, right? But it's not an income tax. Income tax is essentially no taxation without representation. Yeah, it's unlawful, right? I mean, it's supposed to be for government employees.
Yeah, most of the taxes originally had to do with, trade, right? And so it was a form of.
They're unlawful though. The NSA last year, when they asked me to quieten down, they told me that if I'd shut my mouth, that they'd fill out the forms for me not to pay taxes. And of course, I just told them I knew about those documents for 2 or 3 years, but they did try to make a deal with me and I was like, I don't just think that's really the American heritage way, is it, to screw the people and, take some of us have favors. We all get treated the same, and the taxes are unlawful.
Well, it works so many times, offering people out of taxes and, hey, here's your black card and your white debit card, so you can charge as much as you want and never have to pay it back. But so people take these easy routes out, right? And so they make these offers, But this is not the time to basically capitulate to these things. This is the time to really stand up, like what's going on in Virginia, like what's going on in lawful America, what's going on here on the front lines. It was take a stand.
I think it's pretty exciting. Yeah. Speak truth to power, or print it to power. How about that? We don't only speak truth to power; we print it in the Washington Times on their front page to power.
Or why don't we talk about that?
Yeah. So anyway, that's all going on. So Kim shut them down. As far as I know, there's not been any rebound from the no. Actually, Michelle, is that how that goes? If they were a kingdom, and now they are a no kingdom, right? So they're a no kingdom of Manna anymore, anyways, and so they have no power whatsoever. His Majesty of Nothingness basically has accomplished nothing, right? So that went down, and then what you saw happen as a result, because that was the big fix everybody was counting on, right? So everybody who bought into the RV, everybody who was in that, is in a panic after that. I guess the whole world's in a panic now because this is the big fix, right? So lo and behold, you had the whole Russian parliament step down, right? Because I think Putin actually must have sided with Kim. But Kim wasn't more specific. She just said that as a result of her shutting down the Kingdom of Manna, the Russian parliament shut down. They all stepped down.
So do you know what that relationship?
Go ahead, Dan.
I just said, do you know what that relationship is between Kingdom of Manna and Russia? I mean, what was going on there?
Well, what I do know is that you know this too, Dan. We did have some people in Russia who were dealing with the Kingdom of Manna. Right, and they were told the same thing we said. They were told, look, if you put this money up, we'll do this for you, right?
Right.
We also know that the Rothschilds were employed to Russia to try to make, to tell Russia, like, look, work with us, and we'll make the Russian ruble the reserve currency for the world, right?
Yeah, that's after Japan was sending them money.
Right. So I would say that probably what you have there, because I also know that it's also Russia's also where Kim was poisoned. I also know that Kim is the actual Russian czar by bloodline, anyways, for Russia. Even though she was raised here in the U.S. She's never voiced any interest in that. But she was actually there to recover, her family's wealth at one point. And so you got to think now. And I know Putin at one point actually okayed the poisoning of Kim, and she got very severely poisoned there. And at some point he apologized when they checked her DNA and realized, no, she is truly would be the bloodline Russian czar. And all the paperwork to prove that was there and held by Putin. So I think that Kim and Putin made peace at some point, but I'm not sure.
How can you make peace with someone that poisoned you? What kind of apology is that?
I'm severely sorry for poisoning you.
I think he didn't know who she was. I think he was also deceived at one point. He was at one point he was the Pindar, right? He was being trained by the ruler or or Shane, you might have heard of,
right,
to actually access these innate abilities. And I think that he rejected it because he realized how jacked up and crazy it was what they were doing, But he was trying to be part of the Billionaires Club, I guess, there for a while. But anyways, so I'm not sure about that relationship. I can't give any clarity on that. I know he did apologize to Kim at one point, but what the relationship has been since then, I don't know.
That would have to be awkward.
Yeah, but regardless, something happened there because basically Putin was talking about restructuring the government, and I believe that's what's going to happen. So and I think that's definitely a good sign that they're working with us if nothing else. And then, so then now you have the Rothschilds are going through the federal arm of whatever it is that they're doing, and they're filing lawsuits against through the FTC and through some other thing too, through the FTC and through. Sorry, I just had it pulled up a second ago. Through the FTC and also with the Patent Office and the FTC. And 2 lawsuits this week that people reported to me, and this would appear to be how they're going to try to access money, right? Now, what's so fascinating about that, right, is that, Kim and I have talked about this before, right? They would never do that because if they do, they have to file, and eventually you have to put a name on that. So they would have to acknowledge Kim is the one who's in charge of the money.
Yeah, Kim, she did that to us. She's the one in charge.
And now then everything that they've held up is this massive lie. It all comes unraveling because now it's like, wait, you said she wasn't real, that she stole it, that she did all this, right? So even if they try to sue, they have to acknowledge that she's in control of it. So if they did that, I mean, it doesn't work to their benefit. I'll put it that way. So that's interesting. So that's all going on.
Do you think the lawsuit will get anywhere? I saw where it's 2 of them. The Rothschilds, 2 of them.
No. Yeah, are you kidding me? They want to do that. The worst thing to do ever would be to sue somebody who has more power than you, more money than you, control of all your assets, and has all the evidence to show all the horrific crimes you have committed over the past 100 years, and you and your family, and can trace you back to every single thing that you've ever done, and she has record of everything. So they can try all they want, and she'll show, look, here's how you ripped off the U.S. government, here's how you did this with Russia. I mean, she has files, and not only that, but she sent these files out to all these different organizations, right? They've all received them like starstruck and like probably didn't realize what they had. But she put all that information out and just did data dumps on them so that they could not deny. It's like, here is all the information, all the crimes that have been committed against your government. And remember, she just returned the power over to the governments, right, on New Year's Eve. So like everybody now really has the ability to stand up, and yet here we sit, right? So you have on the table freedom or slavery, not just for the countries or those individuals, but for all of mankind. And these, characters in whatever positions of perceived power continue to choose slavery. But that being said, I asked her about that. No, we're not. No, we choose freedom every day, right? So I asked him today. I'm like, what's going on? I was kind of like, this is depressing. Like, why? Like, every possible thing you can imagine has been done, and yet we're still waiting on. Like, they're still pandering to the kingdom of Manna. Are you kidding me? It's not even a real kingdom. Go to the Speak Project. You'll see when Kim gave the kingdom of Manna its title and power and king and land, that all is held in the trust. Then you'll see a little while later the order that revokes all of it because they broke the treaty between the Manna World Holding Trust and the Kingdom of Manna. They broke the treaty by signing agreements with the Dragon families and the Rothschilds. So as they're sitting there, in their pompous arrogance, acting like the Dragon families are no longer in control, and they actually had the nerve in this notice that they put out there that said, as we have gracefully and peacefully. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is such a crock of bull, Yeah. So they have not done that whatsoever. So it's a complete lie.
It's really sad the heritage that they will leave, when peace has been restored to humanity. Their line is just, their legacy is horrible. It's really sad, and what they've done to humanity. And what will be so great is to finally see them be held accountable for their crimes.
Well, nobody talks about the losers. Just talk about what we've done.
Right.
Who cares?
Let's talk about what we've done. We've actually had a great day on January 16th, 2020. I think we have begun to make history. And so as president of Lawful America, it's been a really great day. We have been on a roll with Lawful America and Speak Projects. And of course, the front line, we're all making a difference. So, Tank, can you pull up and read what was published in the paper, or do you want to read it? Or it's in the, Tank and I don't know if you can pull it up and read it.
I can. Chat away for a minute. Give me a second, and I will. Where do I do this?
So, Dan, so there's a few steps that we're going to do with Lawful America. What people have been making mistakes is by using the court systems to hold the elite, the government, accountable for their unlawful and unconstitutional legislation laws against us. And so what Lawful America is doing is we are going to not use the court systems, and we are going to absolutely, we have filed this in the Library of Congress, and it has been approved. We've got a member, and Wayne helps us with that. She's amazing. And well, we have an amazing team. Like, the team that Tank has built and what we have is just been amazing. The new people have just been absolutely amazing. But we're going to, we've got it approved by the Library of Congress, and we actually have it in book form that's going to be available to the public very soon, and with the lawsuit and the suit that Tank and I wrote with the team. And then we also today run it to put them on a 40-day notice in the Washington Times, and we are putting the government on notice. And that's all you have to do is, because American jurisprudence in Section 177, that if a law is written, if it violates the Constitution, it's a no law, it's wholly void. And so we are going at this a different way. It's been really exciting to see how many people. There was a lawyer that actually sent a message that had seen it and that it had ran. I've had, my messenger has gone off crazy tonight. And I'm just, this is exactly what they're saying. Lawful America has got some balls to be able to run this. Like, that has been in all my messages on notices. They cannot believe that we've done this. But this is what I say about speak truth to the power. And you can choose to just talk, or you can choose to do something. And we walk the walk. So you got it pulled up, Tank?
I got it pulled up right here. 1 second. I'll even share the screen. I think I can I?
Yeah.
Hope I'm not going to share the screen. I'm just going to read it. Okay, so here's what it says. All right, this is a public lawful notice. We the people, as the de jure body politique, established and according to the United States Corporation, hang on 1 second, it's a little bigger. The United States Corporation's own rules, that a de jure assembly has superior lawful standing to a de facto assembly. We the people, being of the de jure assembly, do hereby formally rebut the United States Corporation's public notice to inform the United States Corporation that they are in violation of the U.S. Constitution, and as the acting government, their power and position is afforded to them by the people for the states united and contingent upon them operating within the limits and guidelines defined by the U.S. Constitution. In accordance with the Constitution, we the people have identified that the Child Vaccine Injury Protection Act under 42 U.S.C. 300 AA-27 and H.R. 5546, National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986 are a, quote, no law and wholly void for the following reason. Congress does not possess the authority to remove liability from a corporation or individual. Congressional Record, Section 41, Chapter 62, Section 1. In so doing, the corporation or individual would operate without any risk of consequence and would therefore be operating as a foreign agent with special privileges not enabled by the Constitution and thus in violation of the law of the land. The government is not allowed to create mandates that they profit from, or that they profit a contract by which a lawful business is committed to the management of another, and by him undertaken to be performed gratuitously. The mandatory is bound to the exercise of slight diligence, and the United States Corporation is responsible for the gross negligence and dereliction of duties being found in breach of trust of the people. We, the people, intend to return and maintain the government of the States United to the status proclaimed by the Magna Carta, the Declaration of Independence, and the original organic Constitution dated 1787 and amended 1791. Any attempt to violate the fundamental rights of the people through unlawful policy, unlawful statutes, words, or by force is therefore considered an act of treason as stated in Title 18 U.S.C. Section 2381. Child Vaccine Injury Protection Act under 42 U.S.C. 300 AA 27 and H.R. 5546, National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, established fraudulently as law is a clear violation of the U.S. Constitution and is therefore impossible to enforce and is in fact a no law from the time it was written, according to the American Jurisprudence 16, Section 177, 2D, Section 256. We hereby give notice that we have confirmed our lawful standing for this lawful declaration. Anyone responsible for the criminal willful negligence will be held personally liable in their private capacity and are subject to being charged for treason and will have to answer to we the people. All anti-constitutional acts will be met with indictments. United States of America Incorporated is given 40 days from the date of this notice, which is January 16, 2020, to come under constitutional compliance, at which time indictments of civil and criminal infractions will be filed in the court of record and immediate action will be taken within the reasonable power of the law. You have been noticed by we the people of the United States of America. That is lawfulamerica.com. There she is.
Wonderful.
There she is. There's the baby.
That's it. Thank you very much for all your hard work in getting that put together. I feel better already.
I do too.
Oh, I feel amazingly great. Like in about 40 days, we're going to start seizing their houses and their lands and seizing them in private capacity. Take notice, I try to throw the word treason in everything I can. And so I believe that it's time to hold them accountable. And, we watched like with Virginia, we see people panicking. I was talking to Tank earlier and I got a message where someone was panicking about Virginia, like, is there going to be a civil war? And I'm like, all right, guys, I got to start realizing that they can call an emergency, national emergency. You have to understand, first of all, they're doing that to start a war. I mean, that's what the deep state is all they have. The cabal would love for you to cause a war. So I hope that everybody would be mindful of that. But, and we do have, we did send a letter to the governor of Virginia. We did tell him we would call a grand jury. He did not tell his legislators that what they were doing was unlawful and against the Constitution. And they can actually all be charged with treason as well, and we would hold them in their private capacity. But no emergency has just cause to suppress the Constitution. And you cannot, like with the Ebola, with the guns, there's nothing that you can call in the United States. An emergency cannot create power, and no emergency justifies the violation of any provision in the United States Constitution or even the state constitution. And public emergencies such as an economic depression, any of those things, it does not allow for them to call a national emergency.
Well, I guess.
And when it happens, go ahead.
I would like to add, I heard today a couple of different sources where in 2012, the Virginia state legislature put into law that in a state of emergency, you cannot put in a ban against the Second Amendment.
Oh.
Again, that's a piece of legislation that is true. But again, you've got a piece of legislation that you're allowing to, that should never have been written. That's the problem with our legislators. They're wasting your taxpayer money by rewriting laws over and over.
Right.
And when they should be writing these. They should not be writing these. There's
there's a higher, we're talking about a higher level of law, but at their level of law, at least this is something is like, well, if someone came armed, they say, well, that ban against us doesn't hold any water because there's a previous law put into place that says that you cannot do that, specifically in these instances where people are protecting their Second Amendment right, standing up, that you can't, put a ban in place. Exactly what they did do, going against the 2012 quote-unquote law.
What are they claiming, Dan? What is the actual state of emergency that he's trying to claim there is?
He's got word that there's people that are going to come there and they're going to do the same kind of events that happened in Charlotte, was it, or something like that?
At the Capitol event, they have been told that the people with the guns are going to come into the Capitol and the drones are going to be there to cause problems. the only storming that should be is when he is taken, and which the police or the National Guard, not the police, since they don't work for us, and they're private people as well. I mean, they're all private, but and the federal marshals, who truly constitutionally work for us, should already have stormed and removed him from office, because what he is doing is a violation of the Constitution, a violation of his oath, and it is treason. And
well, actually, jurisprudence says that the militia should go take him out. So the militia is well within their rights to go in there fully armed and take him and remove his laws. So, I mean, that's something nobody's really talking. That's why I think it's dangerous to pull in state legislature when they should just focus on the actual Constitution, which says, hey, you can take him out because he's violating the Constitution.
Well, I'm all about the militia. You know, I mean, you know, that I'm at this point where we just go in blazing. You know, our heritage has always been built about the 3%ers. The American, we won our independence with 10% standing up. And at one point, only 3% were fighting for us. And so I believe that, you know, if it takes, I'll just put it this way, lawful America, if it takes a whole room of moms that are not afraid to pack and be part of the militia, because we know what our constitutional rights are to remove these people from house, that's what we'll do. And it's time to take our country back. It's time to restore back to humanity. What has been done is absolutely injustice, and it needs to be stopped.
I agree. Totally agree. So it's so pretty exciting times, you know, and I'm glad that we you know, I'm really, really excited that we were able to issue, you know, a warning saying that they're going to call a grand jury, and that National Liberty Alliance, you know, obviously we were on the same page because we didn't discuss it, you know, but
right.
I'm glad that they took action to do it, you know.
Awesome. Yeah. So, well, everyone comes together. I mean, there is no, you know, left or right, you know, conservative and liberal. These are all just labels they put on to divide us. So we're just to realize that we're Americans and wanting to stand up for our rights, our inalienable rights, that they cannot just take away because they decide they want to pass a law, quote unquote law, which is not a law. But they get everyone convinced that they can do it, right? And they go ahead and go along with it. And then people will just say, well, it's the law, right? Without really knowing what they're saying, right? They just capitulate.
Yep. So
I guess that's my new favorite word, capitulate, because I said it twice today, and that makes it 3 times. So, anyway, I've got a couple of other things that I thought were interesting I can share with everyone. Let me go ahead and get the screen up here, because I've been covering this censorship, right? Let me pull this up. And let me share my screen with you guys so you can see it. And I've been doing these side-by-side comparisons. I did 2 of them this week, where I showed like a video that was completely edited by the source, so that the story doesn't even make sense. But in the first one, it was on Water's World, and they edited out Dennis Prager and anything he was saying about Ilhan Omar. The other one showed that there was a big conversation about it, and really, you know, but they had wanted to censor Dennis Prager and Ilhan Omar, anything bad about her. The next one, you know, I just did yesterday, and that was Trump. He was edited by on Fox's the whole rally speech from Wisconsin. I believe it was Wisconsin, and then he the whole speech in one section, he started talking about water conservation and what was going on with like the dripping of the shower heads. You can't get any water out of any faucets or shower heads because they're restricting the water. Meanwhile, the governor of California is dumping fresh water out right to the ocean instead of allowing it to go to all the farmers, and it's making the dust bowl, right? But I'm ad-libbing a little bit there, but because I know that issue very well. But so Fox edited all that out about the governor dumping water. And so I put them up side by side each time and show that they're actually doing this. They're removing the edits. So this is another one. On the left, obviously it says fake news, and the right says the real news. So let's see what it turned into. So let's play this.
I believe the president has done well.
I'm not really sure. I just support him. I don't focus on like what he has been doing or anything like that. I just focus on what he believes in.
Mm-hmm. And what is it that he believes in that appeals to you?
He believes on making this country a better place than what it was, and just overall becoming a better country and better standings, better economy, and that's just all I believe in.
You believe the president has done well?
So again, you know, it's coming out where more people are picking up on these things, right? And so we're aware that they're editing. Now, I was warned yesterday by one of our group that basically said, "Hey, one of your videos just popped up, and it said, you know, and it said things that you didn't say. It was edited and put out there." Now, he didn't download that video, and he went back; it was gone. But I said, "Oh, that's interesting." But next time, he's going to make sure to download it, and I'd like to see more about what was said there. But you know, this is going to be an ongoing tactic where we're being attacked. You know, our right to free speech through YouTube, right, or through, you know, social media, in many different ways. And I believe it's actually AI that's programmed to do these things, right? And it's pretty clumsy right now, but it's going to get better. But there is technology that allows us to see if it's really faked or not. But anyone can make anything that can be said, and they can do it while we're talking, while we're doing this live. You know, they could possibly do something like this. Anyway.
Well, yeah, they tried to do that today. You know, they do this like when they manipulate our voice frequency and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So that
You're sounding like a demon now, right now. What happened?
Oh, really? Yeah, they do that to me all the time.
Yeah. So
that's what they did today. So
well, let's see.
They changed its frequency, and a lot of times with y'all, there's a knocking noise, and there's another person that speaks a lot of truth on the wall, and they have the same knocking noise actually that's been in y'all's videos. So, and it's definitely, you know.
They're putting like in background sound effects for us, right? So they're just trying to help us out.
I'm glad that y'all are popular like that, though. I mean, it's a good thing to be the kids on the block that they like.
Now I can tell this one is pure satire, right? It's not real. I mean, it might be a stretch to think that it's real, but it's not. But just watch. Of course, they're holding the impeachment, right? And so they're carrying this from Nancy Pelosi's office to the Senate. Started it over again, but well. So anyway, so there's something up with this. This is not really a live, you know, or a straight feed. You know, they've done some doctoring to this, but you can kind of pick it out.
I think that's what's wrong with our government, that it takes 9 people to carry a plate of pens.
It's ridiculous.
And a document,
yeah,
you know?
on a silver platter, so to speak.
I mean,
Oh, we actually got word also why Nancy Pelosi actually has delayed all this time. She was waiting for her order of pens to come in to sign the impeachment. So she wanted these gold pens, right? So it took her like a month because she wanted to wait for these special gold pens to come in for souvenirs. All right.
Well, in the meantime, the banking system needs to be fixed. The money system needs to be fixed. We have 700 children a day taken in, America along with CPS, and we have all these homeless veterans and everything. So what's so important, Nancy Pelosi, is those freaking pins, so you can find an impeachment that was not even done lawfully. I mean, that's
Right.
the mentality that these people have that we're dealing with.
Well, I think Rudy.
That's why it's so important that the people take a stand again, because are you really trusting your future, your freedom, your heritage in Pelosi's hands and Biden? All these people do not have the common sense enough to get out of the rain. Why would you allow them to dictate your life?
Yeah. There's not a real impeachment, right? Because there's no crime. They sent over articles of impeachment without a crime. So Rudy Giuliani said they're going. Well, I think he making the suggestion. I don't know if they're going to do it. That they would take this to the Supreme Court and rule it unconstitutional.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
That is what should happen.
I think that's brilliant. But I think on the other side of this that Trump wants to have the trial. I think he wants this stage, right? Because it's going to be highly watched. It's going to have high numbers because people are going to want to see what Trump has to say, right? And so I think he's going to.
It's all a stage.
Yes. But sometimes it's like
That's
PBS. Sometimes like PBS or C-SPAN. Nobody. Yes.
If they keep you entertained, you do nothing. I mean, that's what the government is. It's all a stage. It's entertainment.
Yeah, that is true. I also I was thinking about this YouTube feed that they're sending through. It's such repeated information that it's obviously cherry-picked information from their AI going out, putting on channels that I'm not subscribed to, and feeding it to me, and it's just a waste of my time, right? So that I don't hear other things that are important, like what's on the front lines, or speak weapons, or any of our
Oh, and we can't leave out Tank. If we don't talk about Speak Tank, I won't be able to come back.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, listen, I'm not Jackie up a position. You're okay.
Yeah, lawful and Lawful America and Speak Project and so on. So, but we've got
a list going.
Yeah, there's so many groups now for Speak Project. I don't know which group to watch. So just a notice. It's like
we don't either. No.
I was like, what's going on here? There's like 2 new ones today. So it gets a little.
They're all important, Dan. If it comes from Speak Project, I mean CNN, all of them, they're on all the time. Y'all all watch them. So if it's coming from Speak Project, Lawful America, Frontline, it's important. You gotta be watching it. It's important.
Yeah.
I agree. Did you see this? The sheriff got down in Virginia, right? And he quoted the Declaration of Independence. And it's really powerful. He said that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute new government.
Well, that means
and Michelle Walker.
The sheriff is
Michelle
more
Walker
inclined.
made sure we included that in the Lawful America, by the way.
Well, I think that would show signs that the sheriff is inclined to go in and arrest the governor.
Yes, indeed. I was very confident.
I may need to contact him. He may be my new best friend. I mean, I like the lawful sheriff. And I actually have some lawful constables in Arkansas who have just been waiting to help. And so there are more people than, on our side than I believe the government realizes. And so it's going to be fun. I mean, trying to bring a little fire to them.
I've got one more here queued up. This is actually someone, he says right here, gun control will leave my disabled wife defenseless. in Virginia, right?
How would you feel if you were a disabled individual? You only have a small number of firearms that you could choose from because from your joints and your muscles and fused ligaments and whatnot that are held together by a titanium plate, so you can't take a lot of jarring. You have a small, minute window of firearms that you can use to defend yourself. How would you feel if somebody said, no, I don't care, I don't want you to have it? How would that make any of you feel? That essentially is what I'm having to go through for my wife and my sister. I work night shift along with my brother. We both work night shift. Anything happens during the time I'm at work, I want to make sure that my wife or my sister is able to protect themselves by whatever means necessary. Amen. Period, point blank answer. What is going on right now is an assault on law-abiding gun owners. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't let them, come at you with the guise of, oh, well, it's just common sense, because common sense is not so common anymore. Right. So I implore every one of you, fight, tooth and nail, claw, talk to everybody you can, gun owners and non-gun owners alike, because it's going to take everybody that cares about our rights to fight for our rights, because without them, we have nothing.
Well said.
There we go.
Well said.
Yeah. So
that's the thing when we fought for the Seventh Amendment, and they were trying to limit a price on life. That's to me like saying you can have a gun, but you can only have like 20 bullets. And that was an argument that we were talking about. But these laws only restrict the lawful citizen that doesn't go in and shoot people in schools and doesn't rob a store. Those are people that choose to already break the law, and it's absolutely unconstitutional to restrict gun rights. And magazines, if I want to have 20 magazines on my purse, that's my business. It's a free country, and but I'm always going to be prepared to protect myself, my children, my family, the ones I love. And I absolutely agree with him that there's no way in hell that I'm going to turn my gun in, and it's just not going to happen. And we fought already once over this. So if I were the governor in Virginia, I would go buy a history book and might would read it, because we might would find out what happened the last time they tried to take our guns away.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
You have a choice. You can choose, and that's the beauty in America, and the beauty in the world today is that if you choose not to have a gun, that's your right, that's your freedom. And if I choose to have a gun, that's my right and that's my freedom. And if there's no victim, there's no crime. And I believe people should be responsible gun owners. And I believe that you should be, protect your arm where children do not get injured. But I grew up in a house with guns, and I knew not to touch them. It's a parent's responsibility to teach children. It's a responsibility to protect your land. And we have the right to bear arms because of exactly what our government is doing right now. It's about a militia. It is to have a way to fight if your government oversteps, as we see that they are doing with bioweapons, vaccines, the chemtrails. Every day, there's genocide on the American people across the world. And because of that, you have the right to your Second Amendment, which is to bear arms. And it wasn't about hunting. It wasn't about being able to kill a deer. It was exactly about what is going on right now. And it's very imperative that we all stand up for Virginia, and we're a voice for every one of them. This is a war on humanity. We have to stand up.
I agree. You know what? I think we are. I think everybody's doing you're starting to see it come together all over the place. It's really getting to a point now where there's a lot of this stuff is coming out. They're talking about
that it was like 17 times that Obama's administration violated federal crimes. He wasn't impeached, and those were real crimes. You know, there's things going on everywhere.
Yeah, I want to point at we were talking about, you know, the criminals don't listen, right? So you say that there's no guns allowed. They're still going to have guns. Here's an article about the homicide in England reaches the highest level in a decade. And it says, figure shows how knife crime is up 6% in proportion to offenders being charged has fallen. So the knife, people are using more knives. But it doesn't mean that they're not using guns, right? You know, so
Right.
firearms offenses fell 2%, right? So anyway, without going, but it just says I didn't find where it actually says how many of the percentages guns, but they still have homicides based on guns as well as knives. So. You know, it's inhumane to basically restrict people to just knives because it's really painful to keep killing people with knives, right? A gun is so much faster and humane.
So much more humane.
Well, you know,
of course, I'm
Dan, this.
Yeah.
I had a director coming in place in Wichita that was going to be my director at Veterans, and one of the patients over the weekend had tried to buy a gun. This was last year, and he was extremely nervous over the weekend. The gun owner, the gun shop, refused to sell him a gun. They thought something was wrong. And so this has been an example for me to tell people. He came into the clinic and he stabbed the director and the doctor multiple times. He was denied the gun over the weekend. So the gun owner and the gun shop did the right thing because they thought something was up. But he still had a weapon. He came in there with a knife, and he ended up stabbing the director to death. He chased him in the alley and stabbed him. It was horrific. And you know, when I got the call, and they said, you know, they told me, you know, Michelle, we got to tell you something. You know, they were explaining to me, and I said, he was a runner. He actually ran like 26 miles a day. And I said, and they said, you know, the secretary came in and got him out of there. And I was like, okay, he ran, he got out, and he'd be okay. And they said, no, he got him in an alley and stabbed him, you know, multiple times. He's gone. And so for me, that's been a lesson, and that I'm always going to be a gun advocate. If someone went in the office, if I would have been there in Wichita, that wouldn't have happened that way because we had been taken out with one shot. And after that, I encouraged my whole staff to carry. And so for me, you cannot tell me restricting guns saves lives, because I firsthand have seen where a patient has killed a director, a doctor with a knife, and that person did the right thing. So when someone wants to kill you, it doesn't matter if they really want to kill you. They're going to try. They're going to do whatever they can do. And actually, there's been studies on these guns with the government, and the government knows this. They lie about everything, and they have done the study, and there's really no change in crimes with gun restrictions. Actually, it goes up. Look at Chicago. I mean, Chicago, Illinois it's freaking ridiculous what's going on with the guns. But I understand. I mean, I completely understand, Tank. Don't you? Why they wouldn't want people in Chicago having guns, because what they do in Illinois to all the parents, I mean, that's probably what keeps people alive. That's the corrupt.
You don't want.
But again,
that's one thing they definitely don't want that. You don't want people that are armed and intelligent and want to protect themselves. How dare they? Think about this. You had Kara Wachowski. She fielded a call from a sheriff because she posted something on Facebook about her Second Amendment, her constitutional right, that if her house is invaded by individuals trying to take her children, is she allowed to exercise her Second Amendment right? Well, hell yes, she is. She's allowed to defend herself. That cop called her, that sheriff, and he said, well, now I see why your child was taken. Why? Because she had the nerve to protect herself and speak about it? What the hell kind of a cop is that?
Right.
Disgusting what's going on there. I mean, that's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I got harassed by the police tonight. Tonight that happened. I was on the phone with Michelle. I was I was parked at the parking lot at my gym. I walked just around. I was looking up at the sky, talking on the phone, walked around the parking lot. Cops rushed in, unmarked car, patted me down, wanted my ID. I was trying to keep it low key, right? And then I'm just walking. What are you guys doing? But I was dressed in all black, right? Because I had a black jacket on, black pants. I was going to the gym. I wasn't even thinking about anything. Started making all types of accusations. Then I had a headlight out from a ticket I didn't pay. I literally didn't have the money to pay it. So there's a warrant out all the way up in Rye for a headlight that I had out. So these guys are they handcuffed me. So this just happened tonight. They handcuffed me, made me stand out in the freezing damn cold while they go and they ransack my car, right? Then come back and they're and there's in the car, there's nothing in here, but just trying to come back and asking about a prescription medication. Is that yours? I'm like, yeah, it's got my name on it with my license you're holding, But what are you guys doing? There's people and what I did, I sat there, they asked me what do you do? And I said, well, I got to do a podcast tonight. They're like, what do you do in your podcast? I'm like, I expose criminality in the justice system. And I went into a whole dissertation about Lindy Collins Smith and how her husband was ordering up kids from Child Protective Services, bringing them to his office and raping them and filming it, and how she had evidence and that got her killed. And you know what? In the middle of that, they tried to ignore me. They took a phone call. So I made sure when they were taking the cuffs off me and letting me go to finish my story. Because I'm sick and tired of these bullshit, pretend to be law, abiding peacekeepers. They're nothing like that. They got nothing better to do. Real crimes, they're afraid to go in. And when people they know have guns, they know they have guns. They don't go to their house. They ain't trying to go in and get killed because they know better. But what they'll do is I'm by myself walking on the street at night. I can't even walk on the street. And I was in a parking lot. I wasn't near a fence. I wasn't near a gate. I wasn't doing anything. I was on the phone. Literally, Michelle was live with me on the phone, and they're harassing me.
I was. They were harassing him. It scared me. They were asking him what was he doing, and he told them he was just walking. He was on a phone call, and you could tell they were harassing him, and that's how I became your co-host tonight. So now you know the rest of the story, Dan. But we got disconnected, and we there was an alert other day when I was talking to Sid, and they have actually said that they're tracing the call, and if there is an emergency, to call law enforcement. It doesn't even say call 911. And so I heard them harassing him, and he told them he was just walking and asked for his name, and we got disconnected, and then it came on, we are tracing this call, and if there's an emergency, call law enforcement. And so, of course, I panicked, worried about him, and because I knew he had this show, and I didn't know how it's going to belly out in 20 minutes to get him here on time. So,
that was the main concern. That was the main.
I was like, listen, he's got to be on the front line in 20 minutes. Stop this shit. And so that's actually that's actually the true story, Dan, and why I was here tonight. Because your co-host has been in handcuffs tonight. And
I apologize for bringing up the sirens while you were talking about being harassed. I didn't realize that they actually handcuffed you. So I apologize for sending those at you, but
that's okay. No, but I mean, look, these guys. It's like, come on. There's real crimes taking place, right? As a matter of fact, even the ticket they're trying to they justify trying to handcuff me. I'm like, you know what? I got the ticket right up where the Clintons live, right up where they got Clintons, sacrificing little girls and raping kids that you're all letting them run away with. Y'all didn't do jack about that, but I was driving by and I had a headlight out. Really? And this is what you are putting me in a jail cell, side of a telephone booth, trying to. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I'm just disgusted with this whole thing that they try to masquerade as a legal system, or a lawful system. It's not lawful. It might be legal, I guess. I don't even know what the hell that means anymore.
Right.
But
I would ask that cop. Well, you gave him the ID though. I wouldn't have given him the ID. I mean, you were on a parking lot. Like you were on a parking lot. What was the crime?
I asked him the question. I said I'm in a parking lot. He's like, well, it's private. I'm like, this is private? It's a parking lot. What are you talking about? It's a parking lot. It's not private. But you know what? But I know these guys, man. I know how they get. They came up in an unmarked car again, right? They got nothing better to do, right? They're just out scavenging, making, trying to get a bus or whatever it is they think they're going to catch somebody doing, right? It's the kind of garbage they do all the time. It's like, go and take care of some real damn crimes. Go be a good cop. Go be a good man. And go take care of the women and children getting beat up and raped and the kids taken from them. Worry about that instead of some guy walking in the parking lot on the telephone. Give me a break. Sick of these guys. They're always, it's so ridiculous. We don't even need a damn license. We don't even need a damn license to drive. We're travelers.
Not to travel. Travel. We travel. We don't drive. We travel. Travel.
Drivers are. It's supposed to be a profession, right? Like you're a professional. I'm not a professional driver.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, I learned when I was 16 to say I'm traveling in my personal conveyance.
Very smart.
Yeah, not a vehicle.
Yeah. Traveling in my personal conveyance. I'm going to use that term. It's good. But you don't give a cop an ID. I mean, like you're going to get searched. They're going to pull you out and all types of things. And if you don't, then and then they're baiting me the whole time, right?
Right.
They're like, I got my gloves in my pocket, and they're like, yeah, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why you like? I'm like, Michelle was with me on the phone. I'm like, man, I'm calm as can be. I'm not intimidated by you. I'm not afraid of you. I'm like, give me a break. Get the hell out of here. I got a little annoyed. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Go arrest real people. Like real criminals. Go find somebody.
He was being polite. Like, I was so disappointed. I mean, I was really disappointed he was being that polite. Like, we didn't have another Russell America recourse. No, I'm kidding. He was being extremely polite, and I could tell the guy was still harassing him. And it scared me. I was concerned that we were going to have to bail him out. For weed. Hank has a lot of weed on him.
I had no weed on me. Please don't even say that in jest. No, I had no weed on me whatsoever. But they pulled out every single thing I had in my pockets, right? Everything. I had a cigar wrapper in my pocket. They were pulling it out to make sure there was no weed on it. I'm like, come on, man, give me a break. Like, we're gonna is it even illegal to possess weed anymore? I mean, aren't you allowed to? Like,
it depends on who you are. Like, if you're Bill Clinton, you can have coke. I mean, you can fly it into the state and not even go to jail. So
you could come if you were a Clinton. You could come in with a half dead baby that you're raping in that moment, covered in cocaine, and they won't say a thing because they don't give a damn.
Hillary can be eating a baby with cocaine around her mouth, and she's still not going to get arrested at this point.
It's ridiculous. This is why there's no respect, no kind of appreciation or love for the what has happened to our government. Like the sham that Nancy Pelosi held out the impeachment. She had to have it impeached. Then she waited for her customized black and gold pen.
And
they misspelled United on the pen.
How'd they spell it?
I don't know. I just heard that they misspelled it.
That's hilarious! Wow, you got those.
Maybe the guy at the pen company is a Trump supporter.
Yeah.
I wonder how much they cost the taxpayers, and I never understand why they have to have a plate full of 9 pens. Like, why do they have to have so many?
Well, it's the souvenirs, but it doesn't make sense for an impeachment, right? It's not something you want a souvenir for the impeachment, right?
You do if you're a Democrat. I mean, if you're a
Oh
Democrat,
yeah, if it's your
you know,
trophy,
you would.
hey, I impeached Trump. See, here's my trophy.
If I was,
didn't think
I
you
would be
might
so
own 'em.
embarrassed. I think every one of those people look. They were like, "Oh yeah, thanks, Nancy. I really want one of these pens to record the biggest debacle in American history." Thank God I was here and a part of it. Even as they walked over, it was like they were like pallbearers at a funeral. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing's gonna happen. I mean, if Bill Clinton can get a blowjob in the White House and he doesn't get impeached and lie about it, nothing's gonna happen with this either. So nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, but was he
I mean,
wearing?
come on,
But
let's
was
just
he
be real
wearing
here.
the blue dress at the time?
The blue dress.
Was he wearing the blue dress?
I mean, there's evidence there. See, that's the difference. There is evidence there. There's no evidence with Trump. That's the issue here. So,
Well, there was no crime with Trump at all, right? There's no crimes, even and that's why I think Rudy has something there. Maybe they go to the Supreme Court afterwards, after the trial, and Trump's already exonerated. Go to the Supreme Court afterward and ask them to say, hey, rule it unconstitutional, and make it go away that way too. So like a double whammy, knockout, like a double knockout, round 10, Trump.
You know what? I'll tell you, when this goes through, I am going to hire the most elite security force in the world. They're all going to be educated so well on the law, right? They're going to know exactly what they can do and can't do, right? And they're going to be with me all the time, right? And we're going to start to go put liens on every one of these hacks' houses, right? On their houses, on their business, on everything, on their cars, right? And just take all their stuff. Because, according to the Constitution, we do have that right. Right? We do have that right. And I think about this all the time.
we don't need security. All I can say is I hope Tank has security in 40 days. Because in 40 days, lawful Americans will start seizing their houses. So, man, that money's got to come through fast. We need it in 40 days. Because in 40 days, they're going to start seizing their property.
Don't worry, I got to read the thing, but I'm just saying. I have a vision of a very elite, lawful America, a true security team. But I also have a dream. I have a dream that I will be dining in Cuomo's house, well, which will be my house. That's the dream. Because that's the next place I'm going. That's the next place I'm going. And if they want to keep ignoring us, we'll figure it out.
Wonderful.
The Clinton Foundation in Arkansas actually got the blueprints on it. And then I told Hillary that I was going to make it a prison. I just tried to figure out how many prison cells we put in there for all her cronies. And so I actually do have the blueprints for the Clinton Foundation because I think it would be the perfect prison and prison.
So when Hillary says so when Hillary is saying she's going to have a pajama party, just come on over to her house, it's really a trap. Put these guys under house arrest.
Who would want to go to Hillary's? I mean, is it a glitch party?
It's kind of like a haunted house,
Well, you don't want to get Arkansas-sided, right? So if Hillary invites you, you got to go.
That would be like the scariest. When I was a kid, we went up to a place called Padua, and it was an abandoned monastery and before it was a monastery, it was an insane asylum. Not that
lovely.
Like vice versa, right? So it was a monastery, then it became an insane asylum, then it was abandoned, and it was the most looming, terrifying building I've ever seen on the side of the hill in Watkins Glen. We went up there in the middle of the night, and it was known for Satan worship, right? I had people who'd gone up there and videotaped the horrible things like the walls bleeding and stuff like that, and there was all that stuff was there. I went up there myself, I saw it, and I'll tell you, I felt safer there than I could possibly imagine spending the night at Hillary Clinton's house.
Yeah, I would never want to be at Hillary Clinton's house.
Right.
I mean, her state, her old state is enough. That woman is a witch. She's a witch, and that's what my name for. I mean, like, when she goes to hell, Lucifer's literally gonna have to find a new job when she dies.
There'll be a power struggle down there too.
Power. Well, he'll get
Yeah,
Arkansas-ed.
we're
Yeah.
Good times.
Okay, is this good? Is this
So
a
when
good
she
place?
dies, Lucifer will be like, "Mommy, you're back."
Sorry, Dan. Go ahead.
I was just saying. I don't know. I was just saying that. Do we want to like? I mean, we could keep rolling with this, or do we want to like
And we
end
can
here?
be serious again.
No, I think we're good, man. That was a good time, actually. It helped me feel a lot better about being harassed by the cops. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was a good call.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back tomorrow. And thank you, Michelle, for
Thanks
joining.
for letting me crash.
Oh, anytime. And thanks for all you're doing. And Tank, thanks for what you're doing, and all you have to put up with sirens and everything else. So going along with.
That's all good. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate you as always. Everybody have a good night.
All right. Good night.
Good night, guys.